So you had a show, Open Invitation with Stephen Brunt. Great show. You interviewed Dana White, one of your first interviews. He was talking about the significance of getting UFC on ESPN. Let's roll a little bit of that.
Look at where this started and saying, well, this sport's going to land on ESPN, which is still the people's go-to, in the United States of the sports, it's still their go-to. It is as mainstream as you could possibly be, and this massive commitment and partnership with the worldwide leader. Like, that seemed to me to be kind of the culmination of something in terms of UFC.
100%. And, obviously anybody who gets involved in sports in the United States, your goal is to be covered by ESPN, let alone be on ESPN. And it's a big deal, and it's something that you got to do, and hopefully someday it happens, but you don't realize how big it really is until you're on it. These guys are very, very good at what they do. And now with streaming, people all over the world will be able to watch this. And this was my dream one day, where I say this all the time, but it's a fact. And if you didn't believe me 15 years ago, you have to believe me now. I don't care what color you are, what country you come from, or what language you speak. We're all human beings, and fighting's in our DNA, man. We get it and we like it.
What's the takeaway from Dana? What did you learn about him?
Well, I've interviewed him a ton of times, over the years, going way back. And I wrote about the UFC even before Dana was in it. I saw I think it was UFC 7 in Buffalo. That was before that was before Dana and the Zuffa guys took over. And catch the evolution of the sport and the business and the legitimization of it, which I've always been fascinated by, right? Because they were kind of outlaws at the beginning, no rules, no holds barred. It was a bit of a freak show, and but again, Dana can play a lot of characters. As he can be really crude and drop a bunch of F-bombs for a certain audience, and act like a bit of a thug, and then he can be like that, right? It really kind of sees he's really smart, and he can play to the corporate guys too. And I'm not sure whether it's if it was all his idea, but the path that they took, which was to get it legitimized, to get it recognized by athletic commissions, to play by rules, and kind of mainstream it a bit, while on the flip side, still kind of keeping this, guys in t-shirts and shaved heads attitude thing that plays to their audience. That's, I was totally skeptical when, at the beginning when he said, this sport is going to be a global sport. And, now it hasn't overtaken the NFL or any of the other things he's probably said over the years. But, I thought it would always be peripheral, and it's not peripheral. It's mainstream. People talk about it in a mainstream way, and it's on mainstream networks. And, in Ontario, they hired Tom Wright, the former CFL commissioner, the squarest dude in the world, to be their front guy, because they wanted to calm people down and, governments about it, and say, look, no, this isn't worse than boxing, and it's not savagery, and it's not human cockfighting and all of that stuff. It's legit. And they won that battle. And, so yeah, I'd like, no, that it's the only, look, it's this in my lifetime, it's a sport that was, essentially invented, combining a bunch of different things, and a sports business that was invented from scratch that now, it's not one of the big four, but it's there, it's bigger than boxing. And, I say White is he's a street guy from Boston. He's got some weird connections there. He goes to Vegas, reinvents himself, hooks up with these two kind of, mysterious casino owner dudes who actually are the money people. And they sold that company for what, $2 billion or something when they sold out. So yeah, no, I love the story, and I always find him and he knows, when I first talked to him, I was the guy from the Globe and Mail, the business paper, the square paper in Canada. I wrote boxing. He knew that. And he knew exactly how to talk to me versus, say, talking to some guy from a, UFC fanzine or podcast or something. Like he knew his audience. And I always thought that I kind of tipped my cap to him, man. Like you get it.